Welcome, Brookline property lovers. This is Shira Steinberg from Brookline Daily Homes. Thank you for joining me. Today, we will be discussing one property, a condominium, and a very interesting issue. So without further ado, let's look at the property. The property is 811 Heath Street. As I said, it's a condominium. It's in what was originally a two-family home, and now it's a two-unit condo association. Both units are owner-occupied. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, one of which is a master bath. It has one fireplace. It's the upper unit of the two in the building. It's in the Baker School District, and it was a gut rehab done in 2004, which included the heating system, central AC, wiring, plumbing, windows, restoring the woodwork, a new high-end kitchen and baths, washer dryer in the unit, and it also has, in addition to all those things, additional storage and basement, front and back porches, and 2 parking spaces. And by way of preview, the 2 parking spaces is what we're going to focus on a bit later. It is 1,866 square feet, and the condo fee is $185 a month. Let's take a quick peek at the pictures. By the way, this property is listed in the multiple listing service by Karen Fallon of Keller Williams, the same agency that I'm affiliated with, and she was kind enough to agree to let us look at her listing. MLS was also kind enough to let us use their data, and there's a little disclaimer at the bottom about it. I'll point that out when we get to it. So this is obviously the kitchen, and this room with the table and chairs is actually the family room. These people are using it for casual dining, but it's open to the kitchen and has all the potential of a family room. Note the beautiful floors and the recessed lighting, the wood trim which was restored, and of course the wood cabinets, stainless steel appliances. Over here we have the dining room, and this doorway, it leads to the kitchen. Actually, the dining room is to the right of the family room, so this reflects the actual layout. Next, we have a photo of the living room. We have the bay window, more wood trim, including a beam, brick fireplace, again, hardwood floors. This is facing more or less south, which is the direction from which you get the most all-day light. There's a couple of bedrooms on this floor, 2 bedrooms to be specific on this floor. And then upstairs is the loft-like master suite. Of course, this was originally the top level of the building, the attic, and so we have eaves, and there are skylights in the eaves in addition to the regular windows. And although sometimes people feel cramped in what was originally attic space, this room is so spacious and so open that I can't imagine anybody feeling cramped in it. I can just imagine them feeling very at ease with the amount of space, very comfortable. And finally, we have the screened-in porch. And the disclaimer that I promised you earlier, that this is from MLS, and the information was gathered from third-party sources, so we can't represent or warranty the accuracy of the information. Of course, we're much more interested right now in discussing our topic for the evening, which is parking spaces. When you're standing in front of the house, there's a paved driveway to the left of the building. And if you go up the driveway and bear right, there's a large paved area behind the house where the parking is. Now, the broker wrote that it has 2 parking, and also in the data field 2 parking, only description being off-street. She didn't talk about deeded, she didn't talk about assigned, she didn't talk about easement, which I think was very wise, because there's the 3 terms that are used, deeded, easement, and assigned, tend to create a lot of confusion. In fact, on some basic level, they all are the same from a practical point of view, which is what affects the buyers as opposed to the attorneys. And that is, if you buy the unit, it comes with 2 parking spaces. Only you can park in them. When you go to sell the unit, you have the right to sell the 2 parking spaces together with the unit, and the new owner is the only one who has the right to park in it, etc., etc., etc. That's what most people care about, most buyers. They want to know if they have a place where they and only they can park, and they want to know if it stays with the unit and is part of the package when they go to sell. Easement just means that the parking area belongs to the condo association. It doesn't belong to either unit. It belongs to both of them jointly. But in these 2 parking spaces, the only one who has the right to use them and the right to sell that right, i.e. to pass them on to the next owner, is the owner of Unit 2. So from a practical point of view, it's the same thing. I believe that assigned parking is the same thing, although I've heard different stories from different attorneys on that, so I'm just going to leave it out of the picture, and someday maybe I'll revisit it when I feel I've got a definitive opinion on it. And deeded parking is actually virtually non-existent in this area. I'll just add that some of the legal issues that may be involved in the differences between the types of parking are: can you sell the parking at all separately from the unit? Can you sell it to anybody, or does it have to be to someone else who owns a unit in the association? Are there separate taxes on the parking? Are there separate condo fees on the parking? So what do we learn from this? That most brokers call a parking space deeded in the database because it's not legally correct, but it's a way of conveying, of explaining to the buyer that you buy it, you get 2 parking, you're the only one who could park in them, you get to sell them when you leave. And that's what most buyers want to know. The differences between easement and assigned and deeded are things that really should be taken up with your attorney. And with that, I'll thank you for joining me this evening. I hope you've enjoyed our discussion. I hope you'll be back with me on Friday. From Brookline, this is Shira, your Brookline blogging broker. It's a wrap.